Hey, what's up? Welcome, 10 Minute Chef. My name is Tyler. Thanks so much for joining another episode. Today we're making eggplant parmesan from scratch, and it's applicable at home. You can do this. It's easy. It's Meatless Monday. Get to it. You hear eggplant and you're like, ooh. Well, a lot of people are off-put to eggplant. Rather immediate, and it's funny because like eggplant has been cultivated around the world for thousands of years. You know, it's still a toss-up of where it comes from. It's been traded throughout the Mediterranean way back before any of us were alive. So it's funny that we automatically say no to eggplant right away. It's a very popular dish, especially the origin of the dish, eggplant parmesan, is also still a toss-up. Some people say it comes from Parma, Italy, referring to the cheese, Parmigiana cheese that goes on the dish, and that's where the cheese comes from, so it's safe to assume that it could come from there. But other people say Parmigiana, it's not really the original name of the dish in general. It's Parmigiana with an L, which in Italian means shutters. You could look this up. So eggplant shutters, which when you cut them, they do kind of look like, little shutters, little cutlets, eggplant cutlets. So nobody really knows exactly where the dish comes from, but one thing's for certain. In America, we know it as noodles with some sort of tomato ragu and eggplant breaded, fried or baked cutlets with Parmesan cheese. That's how we know it, and that is the most modern version of the dish. That's just doing it a certain style. That's not the traditional way. The traditional way to cook it is with the cutlets. Doesn't need to be breaded or anything, just some seasoning, some Mediterranean seasoning, layered in a baking or casserole dish with tomato sauce or a cream sauce and the cheese, Parmesan. I did it the American or the modern way of seeing eggplant Parmesan, but I didn't even use Parmesan, so I used Asiago, so none of this even matters. This is eggplant Asiago that you could do at home, but you get the point. You can use Parmesan and it works the same. I'm excited to share this with you guys. I hope you find it helpful, and yeah, here we go. So we just sliced our eggplant into cutlets. This was in eggplant. It is in season. Picked it up at a local organic market. Eggplant is full of water, so you gotta salt it and let it dry out. You gotta let the salt pull all that water out of there. We're just getting some egg mixing, semolina flour in a bowl, just a little bit till it starts to come together, a little bit at a time. Wait till all the flour is kind of absorbed and becomes one substance before adding anything else. So yeah, we're ready for a little bit more, and at this point, the semolina flour and egg will be so brought together that I can start kneading it by hand. This is just a quick pasta. This is actually technically a noodle because I'm using egg and not water or oil. So I'm making noodles. Always clean your workbench off and add clean flour. Clean flour meaning it hasn't been touched by sticky egg. It starts to stick to the table. You got to scrub it off with your fingers. It's fairly easy to do. Add some clean flour and keep going until it gets to a consistency that you are okay with. It should be kind of puffy. Yep. It should give some bounce back. See, it's tightening up on you. You should let it relax this is about 20 minutes later. Then you could start rolling it out. At least 20 minutes. Pasta, especially with 2 eggs, can grow very long, so you need some room to work here if you don't have a pasta machine. Wish I did, but I don't, so I'm doing it the old school way. This is better than using a wine bottle, but I have. Just keep rolling it. Just try to keep your egg and flour square. Flip it consistently so you get a nice even roll. Avoid it, you don't want it to fold up on you and you accidentally roll over it, so always be mindful of the entire sheet, right? We're trying to get it paper thin, and don't worry about it ripping. Just as long as you have a little bit of flour under there, you'll be okay. If you rolled it, if you kneaded your dough enough, it should not stick too bad to the table. A little bit it will, but you just work with it. It won't rip. It's very durable. Right? And then you go the opposite direction. That's keeping the sheet square as possible. One more turn should do the trick. We're very thin now, yeah. And I didn't have a pizza cutter, but that would have been very handy here. I only have a chef's knife, but it does the job just fine. This isn't perfect, doesn't need to be perfect, but it looks nice if it is. So we try to get it as close as possible. And we just push the noodles to the side once we cut them and let them dry out. Throw a little flour on them, let them sit in their own little pile. You can hang them over chairs, but we're going to use them pretty immediately here. And we don't need it to be stored. We're just going to throw them right into the pot right after a little bit of time resting. Doesn't need too much, right? So we let them separate in the flour a little bit. Making some breadcrumb now. This is bread that we baked recently. Throw it in a little processor till it's pulverized. You want it as fine as possible. The eggplant's been sitting long enough. Look at how much water comes off of it. That's just the salt doing its job, pulling all that water out. Some salt, some pepper. Our seasoning's done. So those should be dry enough, right? Throw an egg into a bowl. Add some water, whisk it up. It's just a quick little dunk. You can use cream, you can use, butter or whatever. So we're going to dry off the eggplant just a little bit more in the semolina. Quick dry to the wet to the dry. Fresh baked breadcrumb. And then straight onto a pan. And you do it again. Dry, wet, dry. This is the breading for our eggplant. Trying to keep it seasonal. I know eggs are very limited right now because of the cold weather. But I managed to get some fresh eggs. Lakewood Meadows Farms, something like that. They're pretty available to the public, and they're the only cage-free eggs in Florida. So we have these. I'm not going to fry them. I'm going to bake them. You can use the organic garlic cooking oil here. Just touch them all. Throw it in the oven, and our pasta is ready. We let that boil. Cook it to the desired texture, right? And now it's time to plate. By the time those are done, our baked cutlets, some fresh marinara, which if you click the video here, you can see a video of how to make this marinara on your own. Fresh tomatoes, and there's the Asiago. A little bit of green onion because I thought I was being creative, and I like it spicy, so I threw some jalapenos on there. Those are also in season. So there that is. Eggplant Asiago Parmesan. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful in some way. And yeah. Hope to see you back. We're cooking good stuff. Make sure you check out how to make that marinara. And I'll be posting a video about strictly how to do pasta pretty soon. Got some good stuff coming up. We're breaking down whole birds. I got an organically raised rooster from a farm nearby. I'm excited to dig into him. Caught some monster catfish we're gonna break open and put on a plate. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks so much. See you soon.